So I guess I would ask, how would William Wilberforce, George Washington, John Adams, and Martin Luther King Jr. think about your winter arc where you're choosing to drink 86 ounces a day and that be like a big deal? It's a question. Hello and welcome to another video here on the channel. We are talking about the winter arc. And if that preview made you go, huh? Or that preview made you say, I am going to be so offended by this video, then get ready. My intention is not to offend you. My intention is to be honest and give you some encouragement on how to spend your time, how to use the resources that God has given you to really make an impact, not just in your life, but having the mind of Paul, where he said, my life is of no worth or value to me apart from Jesus Christ being crucified. That's what I preach. That's what I live for. God can use me however he wants. My life is of no value to me apart from that. And man, like if we had that perspective about our lives, would we be spending the last 3 months of our year spending, 24/7 focusing on, our prime workouts, our perfect amount of hydration, and, journaling 5 extra pages? Now, we're going to talk about that. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the winter arc. The winter arc is this idea of using the last 3 months of the year to really kind of like pre-launch your New Year's resolutions. You get ahead of everybody else, all of those, weirdos who currently still do New Year's resolutions. They're nobodies because now you got all the winter arcers who are starting in October. So like, whatever to all you New Year's resolution people. And the reality is I don't like New Year's resolutions and I don't like winter arcs. So we're going to talk about why I don't like them. But for those of you who may like them and may be into them, I like you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't love the idea, but I'm going to explain why I don't. And it might actually help you determine how you spend your 3 months in a winter arc, or what you maybe get to shift or change if, understanding and living biblically, living for the desire of being used by the Lord is what matters most to you. Because ultimately, my perspectives and my opinions is not what matters most. It's what God has called us to do. That's what matters most. So I'm going to do my best to explain the things that I see as kind of a contradiction of that, and some of the things that are really great about a winter arc. So take what you will and leave the rest. First off, I'm Katie Stowe. I am the content creator here on the channel. If you like content that is really focused on biblical identity, really supporting young thought leaders to live for God's glory, to give their whole life and dedicate their whole life to the big, incredible ways that God is going to use you, this is the space where we encourage you, where we share wisdom and insight and experiences, and also talk about what's going on in the world, what's happening in society, what's happening in culture, what are the areas. We'll also like having a lot of fun and laughing and like making jokes and like having a good time. So join us. If you are not subscribed already, you can subscribe down below and hit the all notifications button so that you get all of the notifications for the videos coming up. Winter arc, this idea that the last 3 months of your life are going to be spent focusing on you, focusing on the new version of you, wearing your yoga pants, standing on your yoga pad, and giving the world your... In all seriousness, there's been some pretty cool winter arcs that I've seen of people really like focusing on some pretty cool goals that they wanted to accomplish at the end of the year, like learning a new language, or learning some new really cool tech skills, or going through an entire course that would completely change the trajectory of their career and the ways in which God could use them in a different industry. I've seen some cool stuff, but the majority of what I've seen is girls in yoga pants filming videos about drinking enough water and journaling 5 extra pages because mental health goals, and thinking that like if that's all they do, for the day, they're proud of themselves. And I promise you, I'm saying this to myself as well, because I used to be this person. In fact, if you go back on my channel, you will find the like routine productivity craze where like I was like, really making sure that your mental health and your mental space is good before you're taking action. You know what I mean? All that stuff. So I've definitely been there, and I've been there privately more than I've been there publicly. I've definitely been the like, let's go on the next new me version kind of thing. And what's incredible is that a lot of that was spent obsessing over my body, obsessing over how I felt about myself, obsessing over the things that I saw other people caring about with their bodies. And at the end of the day, we watch other people and we watch them and we see what we think is confidence. We see what we think is, boldness and sexiness. And we see these things and we're like, yeah, I want whatever they're doing. So I'm going to follow their routine. I'm going to follow what they eat. I'm going to follow what they drink. I'm going to follow their weird, bizarre, like, doing somersaults at night. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm going to follow some random thing that they do because that must be the magic pill to make my bestest version come true. And the reality is, all of that is about us. And all of that is about maintaining the very minimum of stewarding our body and stewarding the resources in which God has given us. And if the means and the end of your life is doing cool routines where you drink enough water and you sleep well enough at night, if that's the means and also the end, then we're missing out big time as a society, big time as a culture on what really matters and why. Now, I'm going to explain what's great about their winter arc, because obviously, like, there's certain trends that make it because enough people get on board to say this is actually going to be useful to me. That's what happens. So this trend is obviously becoming popular enough that it's blowing up my dashboard. Like, every video that is on my channel is winter arc, winter arc, winter arc, winter arc. But there's a lot of good things. One of the good things is the fact that, like, listen, if you're not drinking enough water, if you're not making your bed in the morning, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not stretching, if you're not moving, if you're not taking care of yourself, then that should be really concerning to you. And you should definitely get some support on doing those things. Now, we all mess up. We all have seasons where we kind of lapse on, really making sure that we're taking care of ourselves, or we're depressed or we're frustrated. And so we start to slip on some things. And that's absolutely normal, and absolutely normal being a human being. But the reality is, if you're finding that you need a 3-month trend to actually like hydrate enough and take care of yourself, then you got to look at, whoa. 1, am I okay? Do I need help? And 2, and I don't mean that in a demeaning way, by any means, if you need help, please get help. That's not a demeaning. Like, shame on anybody that's making fun of that. And there are many of you that really just need to like ask yourself, is this all that life is about? Like, am I barely hitting the minimum because the minimum is all I'm shooting for? That's a lot of you out there. You want to feel good about your day. You want to go to bed at night and feel good about what you accomplished. But the only thing that you can like really push through to actually accomplish is I drank enough water and I slept 10 hours. And so we all love our sleep. I love my sleep, but it's a means to an end. It's a means to a resort, like a refreshed, ready to go, ready to rock and roll, resources available kind of Katie. I'm saying, God, use me. I've prepared myself. I've made myself ready. I've stewarded my body. I've taken care of my body. I've taken care of my mind. Now, use me for what you have to use me for. And when that's our objective, man, what we can hit starts to change too, because it's not really about us. It's about being ready and available so that the Lord can use us. Remember, God created you. Every resource that you have is because of Him. And the ways in which you can use those resources is also about the capacity that He has given you. And the ways in which he directly chooses to use you is about him. So it's all about him. And when we actually allow ourselves to be ready by doing those minimum, maintaining, taking care of our body, stewarding, making sure we have enough water, we have enough sleep, then the way in which we can show up every day is incredible. The way in which we can show up every day is like, I'm ready. I have energy. I have focus. I have clarity. I can be present in this conversation versus being sleep deprived and hormonal, right? So those are some good things about this idea. You can take the time to look at your life and say, wait a minute, like, am I really stewarding my body? Am I taking care of my body? Just recently, in the last several months, I decided to go to the chiropractor because I've had chronic pain a lot of my life, over 10 years now. And I was doing good, but I wanted to be better than good. I wanted to be great. I wanted to have a lot of energy. I wanted to work on my flexibility. I wanted to strengthen my back and my shoulders. I didn't want to wake up in the morning and feel in pain. And what's beautiful is like, combining that with exercising and stretching and moving and doing Pilates in the morning, I feel amazing. But that's a means to an end. It's a means to, can I be useful for the Lord? And can I be useful for the Lord when my back hurts? Absolutely. Can I be useful for the Lord when I show up and I show up ready and I do the things that are good for my body so that I can say, I'm going to be present today and I'm going to work to be at my best. I'm going to work to be at excellence, at the best excellence that I can be today. That is also a way that God can use you. So choose your hard, right? And your hard may be, I'm waiting till 3 months before the end of the year to actually like get it together. Or no, I'm going to choose my hard by showing up and doing this every day and having that be a means to a much, much greater eternity. So if you're someone who is really, really struggling and feels really discouraged about the things that you're accomplished, and that's all of the stuff that's getting masked up by this cultural acceptance of a winter arc being completely the best version of you, which means it's the version of you that focuses on you and obsesses over you the most, then really pause and say, wait a minute, what is it that I am so sincerely avoiding in my relationship with what I was made for, that I'm not actually allowing myself to be, like, to feel the sadness or the grief or the dissatisfiedness of this is all I can accomplish in a day, right? And when you can actually say, whoa, I'm not happy with what I believe about what I was made for, I don't feel content. I'm not being honest with myself. Then you can go to truth, which I sincerely believe for all humanity is the word of God. When you can go to truth and say, okay, God, now I'm listening because I've gotten out of my way long enough to say, I'm not happy. I'm not. See what I'm choosing every single day as something that is eternally significant, then you can go to the word of God and say, wow, like, this is truth. This is life-giving. This is purpose-giving. This is a means to an end and an eternally significant end. So this is kind of the encouragement that I want to leave you with for the end of your year, not to be exclusively about how much you weigh or how you feel about yourself in skinny jeans, or if you got 30 minutes less sleep than you wanted and how that somehow sets you off from your goal and you have to start over again, whatever it is, right? The things that we can obsess over that really aren't about anybody else but our own insecurity and our own lack of anchoring into an identity that doesn't change, then I really, really encourage you to pause and take a minute and say, what was I made for? What do I believe I was made for? And does that actually satisfy me? Or am I just playing a game with myself and it's called the winter arc? It's called a New Year's resolution. It's called the next best version of me. It's called entrepreneurial coaching. It's called leadership. It's called whatever, right? Whatever you're making up about it. It's called college. It's called whatever the identity is. It ends up being so temporary because it's not anchored into the one who designed you, who made you for a particular purpose. I hope that it is encouraging. And some of you may be like, giving me the middle finger over there. That's okay too. But I'm excited to see what this shifts for those of you watching and what you think, what your thoughts are, whether you agree with me or not. I would love to hear what you think. And I'd love to hear what you want to hear more of on this channel, what you want more content on, what more perspectives on, because I'm here to not only share what God has given me to share, but also to make sure that it is being shared in a way that you guys can actually digest. So would love to hear what your thoughts are as well. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.